Well, a very happy new year to all our viewers here. It's 2023 and we're back for another season of the Lite Bite Lunch. Absolutely delighted with the guest we have joining us today. We have Tara from the Biscuit community, and I'm sure she's going to have loads of ideas and wonderful advice for us. So, good afternoon. Sit back with a cup of coffee and enjoy the show. Well, a very good afternoon, Tara. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know we first spoke about 12 months ago about getting you on and trying to find a time that you were going to be available because you're probably one of the hardest working mentors on the circuit at the moment. So,
Thank you.
absolutely delighted you could join us. And of course, Happy New Year. Before we get into talking properly, perhaps you'd just tell us a little bit about yourself and your own background.
Thanks, Rory. Well, Happy New Year to you too, and hi to everybody watching this live stream. It's my first one in the new year, so I'm excited to get back into it. So, a background with me: I'm from Cork originally, living in Dublin. Started my entrepreneurial journey at a very young age of 19. I was in hospitality. I opened a restaurant at a very young age. So on the ground learning for me was a big one on how to run businesses. And I've had 3 businesses. This is my 4th business that I'm currently working through now, the Biscuit community. And we'll talk a bit about that in a second. I originally, though, and this is something that is really important to link everything with what I do, I originally wanted to be a painter. So I left school to launch myself into the art education route and quickly figured out it wasn't really for me. As I searched for the marketing modules in my art education program, and they weren't there. So I quickly left that choice and then dived into the entrepreneurial life that I have taken since then. So now I'm living in Dublin. I have 2 children. I married a Frenchman and loving Dublin. Sorry, Cork people. Loving Dublin and the opportunities that are up here. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Brilliant. Well, as I said, I know from having been involved on different Facebook groups with you and seeing the support you gave that I know how passionate you are about what you do. In that regard, and just to warn viewers, you are extremely straight talking. You have a no nonsense approach. You don't try. You're not inclined to sugarcoat things with people. You're very much tell it exactly how it is.
Yes, that can get me in trouble sometimes. But I think it's important to, if that's your natural way of who you are and how you deliver things and how you are naturally, I feel like we'll bring that into how you are in your professional life as well. Of course, it's much easier when you run your own business and you call the shots with how you do things. But for me, I couldn't do it any other way. And people always say when they meet me in person, from maybe working with me online, because my business is predominantly online, and they go, "Oh, Jeannie Mac, you're exactly the way you are on video as you are in real life. And I think that's really important. Just from a connection perspective, so.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. Like, the persona you have online has to be the same when people meet you face to face.
That's right.
Just before we go on, I very quickly just want to talk about this. Yes, indeed, the Micro Business Awards are back and in action, and the nominations are currently open until the end of January. For full information, I would say to you, go and visit the website, Irish Micro Business Awards .ie. All the categories are there, the criteria, exactly how the judges are going to score the various businesses. All the information is there. You can fill in the entry form there. And the finals this year are going to be in White's Hotel in Wexford in October, and the tickets are on sale now, so you can order the tickets there as well. So do please swing by, have a look at what's happening there. I challenge anyone to come back and say to me there isn't at least one category that they fit into. Right? And that's something we have always made a point of. We want it to be all encompassing. It doesn't matter what type of business you are. Once you meet the criteria of micro business, well, then we'd be delighted to hear from you. And you were actually a winner last year of a Micro Business Award, Tara.
Yay! I was so chuffed. And don't worry, it was the first business award I've won. So you've kick-started my award journey. So thank you for that. I was really, really chuffed with that award. Thank you.
Well, as I said, I would love to be the one taking the credit, but that's down to the panel. There's a panel of 15 judges involved, and I've always made a point, because I'm more or less the face of it, I've made a point that I don't get involved in the judging so that I can't offend anybody.
Yes.
But we've a wonderful panel of judges, all who give their time willingly and freely. And as I said, I mean, the awards themselves, as you can testify to, there was absolutely no charges made for entering. There was no charges made for winners.
Yeah.
They got a very nice trophy out of it.
Yes.
And they got a nice certificate as well.
Yes. And it beautifully presented and beautifully made. And it was really wonderful. Really, really a lovely thing to win. Thank you to the panel.
No, well, absolutely. And as I said, I mean, because of the fact that it's such a wide judging panel, it's nice to see it's not one of these awards where it's the same people winning year on year. There's different people win because different judges may be looking initially at the different categories. Mm-hmm. And for those that are unclear how it works, is all the initial entries go to one panel of judges. They narrow it down to 3 finalists in each. Those 3 finalists make their submission, which then goes to a second panel of judges. So there can be absolutely no question of favoritism being shown towards one business or another. So that's the way we like to do it. It keeps it interesting.
Well done.
Now, one question that every guest that comes on this show gets asked, Tara, is what is your favourite Lite Bite Lunch? So for you, when you want to grab something quickly, what is it you like to grab?
Oh, Jeannie Mac. Well, I love food. But unfortunately, as I get older, I can't eat a lot of things. Just from a health perspective. So my healthy light bite, and it being January as well, I'm trying to focus my brain into the healthy choice. I love a nice tin of tuna and we talked about this earlier, walnuts actually. Yeah. So nuts and tuna would be my go-to. A nice tuna. Yeah.
Very nice. Absolutely. Yes. Really, really nice way to do something nice to go for.
Yes. Nice and healthy.
That's it. And for those that are feeling they want to be a little bit naughty, we will just quickly mention that today is National Whipped Cream Day. So that seems a good excuse to maybe crack out the pancakes and put a bit of whipped cream on it, or maybe to have a naughty slice of that chocolate cake with some whipped cream with it.
Why not?
Right? It's still almost Christmas.
It is. We can drag it out a
Ah,
bit.
yes, absolutely. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, and it's something that is becoming more and more prevalent, probably since COVID, is trying to work from home while you have a young family.
Yes.
Is like for you personally, do you find that is while from a home work life, it can be great, it can also have a lot of its own challenges.
Yes. I have two children. My youngest is 5, and when Bowie was born, I was lucky enough to be able to get the 6-7 weeks off from working because of the team to keep the business going. But because I'm the business, predominantly the business, that is the challenge when you're building your business around you as the key factor in it. And so the challenge when you don't have children, you tend to have lots of time, but that's debatable because I think everyone struggles with time. When a small baby is put in there, it's amazing. And this is something that I've learned, and I teach this a lot as well. It's amazing how much you can get done in very limited time when you're super focused on the outcome that you want, the time that you have, and what's that minimal thing that you need to get done to make it all work. And it's something that having a very small baby in the growth phase of my business taught me. And I've continued that almost system now that he's older and at school. I still put myself under pressure with that structure and planning, and it's interesting now. I see, I'm sure we all are seeing everybody, oh, you've taken a break from social media, get back on social media and do this, and all the marketing people are telling us to do this, and get back on. I'm like, hang on, don't forget to pause and plan what you're turning up to say on social media with first. Don't go, because this is what happens. People go head first into social media, they get stuck in there, and they come out, and then it's February. And then they're like, what just happened?
Yes.
So pause as you go back into work. Like, don't go straight into making reels and I must do this and be sucked into the black hole that is social media.
Yeah. Well,
um
just on the subject of social media, I have two questions that have come in there that we're actually going to take together.
yes.
Monique is asking to
Mm.
tell us a little bit more about the Biscuit community and what it is. But
Yeah.
before we actually get to that, Maggie Garrett is saying, I love the helpful spirit that Bite the Biscuit has. How did you actually come up with the idea for Bite the Biscuit?
Okay, so because these are very connected, thank you so
Yes.
much for those questions. So to give an overview of the biscuit community, um, Bite the Biscuit is the free support community that we have on Facebook. It's a Facebook group called Bite the Biscuit. And this is a group that Rory knows about, and well, over 10,000 people are in there. So it's quite a robust, organically grown group. And that was the very first stage of the business. Why is it there? Because as a creative mind running businesses, all through my career, I arrived in Dublin and I couldn't find creative people apart from at openings. But it's very hard to connect when you're not from a city and you're starting from scratch. So I had no real connection to the creative sector. Which I found quite challenging from a personal level. So I decided, I need to connect with people I want, and they need to connect to each other as well. So I created this group for creative people to come in and, start sharing their work and helping each other. And of course, me adding value by what I do professionally, which is the Biscuit Factory, which is a support group, focusing on business growth strategy, all the elements that you need, accountability, very prominent in there. Is, you know, you can have lists coming out your arse, but if you don't actually get them done, you're just making lists, like, and that's not going to work. So accountability is a huge part of what we do over there. So Bite the Biscuit is a really, really important part of a creative, and not just creatives in the traditional sense, but small business owners' journey. Because if you're not surrounded by people that are struggling in the same way, asking the questions you might be just thinking about, and getting inspired by what other people are doing and meeting like-minded people, it's a very lonely place. I'm sure we've all been in that situation where you're sick of talking to yourself about your stuff, and you're sick of talking to your husband or your mom about things, you know, they don't really get you. So
Well, at the same time, the one thing about the Irish mommy, even if it's the worst idea in the world, she'll tell you how wonderful it is.
that's right, which isn't a good thing. From a
Yes.
business perspective, if you need somebody to say, here, go back to the drawing board, like, have you done who you're trying to sell this to, or what is the purpose of this, and I think with all the best wishes in the world, family are fantastic to a certain level, but then we need to get strategic in how we make decisions. And having somebody like a business mentor or a support network that are not connected to you too emotionally, it brings you to the next level much, much faster. So to answer the question, the Biscuit community, it encompasses a few facets of support for small business owners to make more money, to connect to other small business owners, and to share resources. So that's really the
Yes.
yes.
Well, I mean, the impression I always got, and the way I always look at it whenever I go in to the biscuit community, is it's almost like all these individual crumbs coming together,
Yes.
right, to create that biscuit, because it's so welcoming. And even though you might have businesses that are directly competing
Yeah.
in there, as much as they're competing with each other, they're very much there as a support, as a collaboration, and it really is. It's a wonderfully welcoming community,
Yes.
and everyone is there. Like, there's no such thing as a silly question. There's always somebody there will offer advice in some way or other.
That's right. And it's a really lovely thing to see that happen. That people are not hiding, or you can't know where I got that packaging because I'm the only one that can it's actually turning that on its head by saying, well, community over competition, gang. The internet is there, the market is much bigger. Like, even if it feels a bit weird that you're helping somebody else that's directly in competition to you, that comes back 20-fold, like when you meet
Absolutely
something
agree
and you
with
want.
you.
Yeah, so I think there's a mindset shift around that, and I hope it's in other groups. I hear, I'm not in a lot of other Facebook groups, I'm so busy with my own stuff, but I hear from other people that some groups are still very, very nasty and very aggressive.
Oh,
And
yes.
to anybody that's in those groups, just leave, because there are other groups that are built on trust and respect, and
Absolutely.
not everybody agrees with you, but that's okay. It's called healthy discussion. You just
Absolutely.
respect each other, and with how you talk to each other. I think it's really important.
Yeah, and we've another comment in there. Geraldine's just saying that crumbs is a great way of explaining it.
Yeah.
So,
That's it. Yeah. And and you put all the crumbs together, and they create something really yummy, and it's a biscuit, and it works, like.
yeah,
And what I find as well, Rory, with the biscuit community is the absolute not even need, but it's almost like a desire for it. It's like a craving for the biscuit, like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
yeah, people are just drawn. I think as well, it's because they know there's respect there. You will be listened to, and there's no slamming of, and I see people saying, I hope this is okay to post in here. I'm like, post whatever you want. The community decides. And when I started the group, people said, you can't do that. The group's going to turn into a mad group with no rules. You can't do that. And of course, being a creative and not really liking rules as a child or in school, I went, no, let's just trust the vibe of the group and let's see what happens with this. And we've never had any rules in Bite the Biscuit. The community decides, and the group is 6 years old, and we've had to remove maybe 3 people
Yeah.
in
No,
in 6
absolutely.
years, like, which is an amazing result, I think.
That's it. Now, you were talking there about the fact of arriving in Dublin to start a creative business with no contacts, etc.
Yeah.
And what advice would you now give to somebody? Somebody is sitting there watching this thinking, do you know what? I enjoy doing a little bit of art in my spare time. I would love to turn that into a business. And how do I go about that? So, for somebody who wants to start a creative business, would you have maybe a couple of top tips to give them? Aside from contact you to get the best advice.
Of course. Well, the first thing that I'd say to you is look around you, even locally, as a first step, and see what's happening in the creative sector in your local town or in your local city, wherever you are. It could be a community group. Just to try and find like or a networking group of creatives or small business owners, and start just attending those. I think that's a great way of getting you out of your comfort zone, because I know you might be sitting there going, no, I'll do everything behind the screen and it's much more comfortable. And pushing yourself outside the comfort zone will flip your brain into doing things that you're not usually used to. And that's really important in business. We're always pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones. And if you're not, then your business is going to stay the same all the time. Or your vision won't grow, or you won't get closer to it because you're doing the same thing all the time. So make sure you begin that process by going to that networking event. And you mightn't want to get involved, but just go and experience that and see what that feels like. The second thing, of course, I'm going to suggest is to join Bite the Biscuit and introduce yourself and watch and look at who's active, what people are even working on, and be inspired by what markets are on. This is the resource piece in Bite the Biscuit. Hi, I'm starting out. People post this all the time. Hi, I'm starting out. I'm starting as a painter. I have a few pieces I want to sell. Can anyone recommend a local craft market? And you'll get reams and reams of people. Here, this one. No, don't go to that one. This one. And it's a big, that's the resource. So go into a group like that, or a similar group that fits where you are or what your needs are, and get involved and ask the questions that you need. And the third thing, so out of your comfort zone, go into Bite the Biscuit and get some resources behind you. And the third thing, this is more what not to do. And I see this happen all the time. People come to me and say, Tara, I've my art pieces, or I've my jewelry. I've spent the last 6 months making a website and I'm so happy. And now what do I do? So will I start Instagram or Facebook? Like, well, no. Okay. Don't go near a website. Don't touch a website until you have your social set up, filled out, and pause at the filling out bit, because that's the bit. Your about section. Well, what are you about? What are you selling? That's the work. And that will be extended on your website. But don't go straight into website, get caught in there. It takes ages. You spend a lot of money. Don't do that. So think about, if you are a landscape painter, what kind of work is it? And how do you want your person to feel? That's what we're after. We're not really selling a lovely picture. You're selling the feeling or the impact that that's going to bring to someone's home and to them. That's what you're selling.
Absolutely.
So work on that first.
And we've another question. Monique wants to know, are all the meetups online, and how do you join?
So Bite the Biscuit is totally online. We haven't had a meetup in obviously since COVID, before COVID, but we will be starting them again. So it's predominantly online. So Bite the Biscuit, the you can just go onto Facebook and search Bite the Biscuit, and the group will come up, and just join. There we so if you do request to join, and this is really important, this is why Bite the Biscuit, I feel, is so beautifully curated, because it is curated. So myself and the team, like, we get hundreds and hundreds of people wanting to come into Bite the Biscuit every month. And we go through each and every profile, making sure there's no spammers, there's no people coming in to try and sell you this, this, and this, and that. You know, it's really curated to make sure it's a clean space for people to relax in and be supported in. So, so on that note, if you do request to join, there is a wait time. So if you're wondering why am I not automatically in this group, that's why. So it's just Bite the Biscuit, Monique. If you want to join in and get active in there, you're more than welcome.
On that subject, Tara, just to somebody on LinkedIn there is asking, I hate Facebook and don't use it. Are there other channels you have for Bite the Biscuit?
Yes, we're Facebook and Instagram. So Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram, it's Biscuit Community. So they're the two channels for now. So yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram.
Is there plans for a LinkedIn community as well, or?
Yes. When, I don't know. But yes, I'm interested.
No, but again, like all these things, these things take time to get right.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this is important to say as well. LinkedIn is there. Pinterest is a huge driver of traffic, especially if you're visual and blog writer and all this kind of stuff. You know, there's so many channels and that are really powerful. But my focus is serving my private clients, which I have lots of, and my membership community in the Biscuit Factory, which we are nearly at 100 members in there. And that's a lot of work. And I feel like sometimes we tend to add layers of, you know, the next shiny thing over here and forget about optimizing what we have already. And then I think, you know, when you're ready for another layer. But and that's the same with social media in what you're doing as well. I'll just add this on and I'll do this and that'll fix it and this will fix it. Yeah. Have you looked at what you've created already and make sure they're all optimized first, you know?
Absolutely. Well, time is very quickly getting ahead of us there. So I want to talk to you very quickly about, you mentioned there about having 100 plus members in the Biscuit Factory.
Yeah.
Maybe you just explain to people exactly what the Biscuit Factory part of the brand is.
So the Biscuit Factory is our membership community. So this is the community where you enter and you go through a 7-step process of optimization. So we look at your social platforms, making sure they're optimized, your ideal client or plural clients in the creative sector. That's really important. We do that work with you. We do numbers work with you as well, making sure all of these things are at the very base level for then strategy stuff. That's the process when you enter, and we do monthly workshops. So this month, January, of course, it's all about planning for 2023. So we have a planning. Every week we've a planning workshop, and we do guest workshops as well from all over the world with experts that come in every month teaching us about Pinterest, LinkedIn, you know,
Brilliant.
Storytelling. I mean, it's just every month there's stuff on. So
very quickly before the clock beats us, Tara, how can people contact you if they want to find out some more about the factory? Or
if you just go to thebiscuitfactory.ie, and there is all the information is on that website. There's lots and lots of information on that website. You can email me, Tara@biscuit.ie. follow me on Instagram, Biscuit Community, or DM me over there. Yes, so that's how you ask me anything. We're always open for questions.
That's great. Well, listen, Tara, thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, the clock has beaten us today. We will be back in 2 weeks' time when we'll be joined by investigative journalist Paul Connolly, talking about the secrets of getting the best out of broadcasting and that type of thing. So until then, we'll wish you all a very happy new year and good afternoon.
Thank you.